Jay Clayton joins us now on set to talk about the big stories of the day. Jay is the former chairman of the SEC and a CNBC contributor. We've been talking about Reddit. I just think that's interesting because Andrew keeps pointing out it's been around a long time, still losing a fair amount of money every year. I don't know. Would you want to get in on this IPO? They have a business model that's going to eventually pay off?
Yeah, look, it's a network. It's a network play, right? The idea that you have the broadest network and that the broader your network gets, the more valuable you are to the next participant. And we've seen a lot of, well, that's Amazon, right? Amazon didn't make money for a long time. Till the broader the network they got, the more value they could deliver to the next participant. I think that's the play here. I'm not
right.
The world's great investor, but that's what we're seeing.
You know about disclosures, and it's interesting to see. They say we have a bunch of wackos on our Redditors, and that's a actual risk to the company. Some of the I don't know.
Well, it is a risk to the company, right?
Wall Street.
It is.
What was his name? Crazy Kitty or something? Or
Roaring Kitty. They made a movie about him.
Yep. I know. Andrew starred in it.
It's actually a pretty good movie.
Really?
Yeah. It was a good movie. It's about.
I saw the guy. He's in The Fabelmans. I think the guy who's.
Yeah, it was about euphoria. It was a moment in time in our markets. We talked about the fact that you can't regulate euphoria.
Can we pivot talking about regulation to your thoughts on Discover, Capital One, and whether you think a deal like that is going to be allowed in this environment?
Well.
Discover.
Not Discover.
I thought we were going to talk about Discovery.
Well, we can talk about Warner Brothers Discovery, which, by the way, I think people confuse the two. But they should.
No, I should say the Sullivan and Cromwell worked on the deal. I'm not working on the deal, but just let me say that up front. People have been waiting for competition between Visa and MasterCard for decades. It would shock me if you weren't allowed to add heft to a potential competitor. The Visa and MasterCard. That's just looking at a market.
So I made that argument the day it came out and said this would be a good thing because people think that Visa and MasterCard are like a tax on the entire economy, and if you could have another competitor in there, that would be actually very valuable. But there's this other argument being made that in terms of banking, you don't want more consolidation, and that making Capital One a stronger becomes first of all, becomes the number one credit card company in the country over JP Morgan and Citigroup, and whether you think that there's just too much consolidation and the Treasury would somehow try to either Treasury would prevent it or DOJ would prevent it.
Now, I'm not going to say that I watch every minute of this show all the time, but you had the Stellantis CEO on.
Yes.
And what was his thing on how many car companies there are going to be in the world?
Five or six, yeah.
I would say that we're sort of still way overbanked.
We're way overbanked.
Right?
Yes.
We're way overbanked.
You have to pretend to your employers that you're not watching us? What do you mean you don't want to pretend you don't watch every you don't want to cop to that you watch the show?
I try to diversify a little bit.
Hold on.
Not Fox.
when we made the argument, I remember after the Silicon Valley Bank blow up, some of us made the argument that we were overbanked. And people thought that was sacrilegious to say that this country's overbanked. We still have, 4,000 banks in this country, which is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs relative to every other country in the world.
There are two different issues, which is, of course we're overbanked, but the regional bank, who is going to serve the small and medium-sized businesses in this country? That is a real issue. And are we going to have banks of the size that do that? But we're, there's no doubt we're overbanked, and there's no doubt that the inability of banks to consolidate over the last 4 years has been a negative.
You want me to look into the sun? I'll do it. I'm going to do it.
Good.
I'm looking into the sun.
Put your sunglasses on.
10 days ago, you just came in and said that Joe Biden won't be the nominee. And now you say everybody is sort of coming to that conclusion or the potential conclusion.
I mean, you put me on the spot and asked me. You said, "What?"
No, I didn't. It was him. I think, wasn't it?
I think you looked right into the sun.
But now,
see these lights? They're like the sun.
No, this was the part of when I'm looking into the sun because you said something very compelling that at least to me, it would open up some this, and that is Wes Moore. And I've seen it written. I've seen the article written that this sort of panicked move to just prop up Biden at all costs by the Democrats are missing the opportunity to sort of pick the next, what is alluded to as the next young, rising, unbelievably incredible star, and you're not doing it because you've got all your eggs in this one basket and you immediately said Wes Moore is the guy, not the guy presiding over the California dropping into the sea. That's not going to be the guy, is it?
Okay, let's just. What do the American
look people, in the sun?
What do the American people want? They want somebody center left or center right.
Yeah,
that's what the American people want.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we say, but then you look at where we are, and you'd argue the opposite.
Well, you know, we have a party system.
Right.
I'll be a little bit philosophical here. What George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump have in common?
They were all presidents?
They were all born in the same year.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We have had the same cohort of people running this country for a very long time. And when you have the same cohort of people doing that, people are going to gravitate toward their extremes. Because that's what you do when you have the same people. It's like, say, you worry about the same thing in a boardroom.
Which
you worry about the same thing.
Which three? Tell me again.
Donald Trump, George W. Bush,
and
Bill Clinton.
Biden was born before all of them.
And Biden was born before all of them. Yes. So that is a cohort that has been running
we
the
know
country
Wes.
for a
He's a
long
friend
time.
of the show, friend of ours.
Yeah.
We know him. I mean, his resume is almost too good. It's like,
and look,
he probably wouldn't want to be president.
I saw John Hope.
I think it's early. I think it's early.
It's too early for him. He hasn't been governor.